Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Nishit Kumar and with me is Aditi Lumba with the evening news. The headlines. Cabinet increases MSP for Rabi crops for marketing season 2022-23 to ensure remunerative prices for farmers. Government also approves production-linked incentive scheme for textiles to help create additional employment of over 7.5 lakh people. Cabinet approves procurement of 56 transport aircraft for Indian Air Force. High-level India-Russia intergovernmental consultation on Afghanistan held in New Delhi reviews situation in Afghanistan, activities of terrorist groups and role of regional countries. Centre decides to allow induction of women into the National Defence Academy. India administers over 70 crore 75 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccine so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. National recovery rate of COVID-19 stands at 97.48%. In Kerala, 16 more samples tested negative for Nipah infection in Kozhikode. Rescue operation on following capsize of a boat in Brahmaputra near Nimati Ghat in Jorhat district of Assam. Over 100 people rescued so far. And Sports and Youth Affairs Minister Anurag Singh Thakur felicitates Paralympics medal winners. As the nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is underway, we advise our young listeners to get vaccinated and also help others get vaccinated. We also advise our listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing and focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011 2397 8046 and 1075. And now, the news in detail. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs has approved the increase in the minimum support prices for the Rabi crops for Rabi marketing season 2022-23. The MSP on lentil, rapeseeds and mustard have been hiked by 400 rupees per quintal each, gram by 130 rupees per quintal, and safflower by 114 rupees per quintal. On wheat, the MSP has been increased by 40 rupees to 2015 rupees per quintal and barley by 35 rupees to 1635 rupees per quintal. The decision will ensure remunerative prices to the growers for their produce. The hike is in line with the Union Budget 2018-19 announcement of fixing the MSPs at a level of at least 1.5 times of the All India weighted average cost of production, aiming a reasonably fair remuneration for the farmers. The Union Cabinet also approved the production-linked incentive scheme for textiles. Under it, the incentives worth 10,683 crore rupees will be provided over 5 years. Briefing reporters in New Delhi, Textiles Minister Piyush Goyal said the decision will help in creating additional employment of over 7.5 lakh people directly and several lakhs more for supporting activities.
टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री सबसे अधिक रोजगार प्रोवाइड करता है। टेक्सटाइल सेक्टर का योगदान रहा है भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था में। अंतर्राष्ट्रीय बाजार में बहुत बड़े रूप में भारत भी मैनमेड फाइबर्स के फैब्रिक में, उसके गारमेंट्स में भी अपना योगदान दे पाए, उसके लिए विशेषकर ये पीएलआई स्कीम मंजूरी की गई है। 10,683 करोड़ रुपए इसमें इंसेंटिव के रूप में प्रोडक्शन के ऊपर दिए जाएंगे।
The scheme will promote production of high-value man-made fabric, garments and technical textiles in the country. The incentive structure has been so formulated that industry will be encouraged to invest in fresh capacities in these segments. This will give a major push to growing high-value man-made fiber segment, which will complement the efforts of cotton and other natural fiber-based textiles industry in generating new opportunities for employment and trade. It is expected that the scheme will result in fresh investment of above 19,000 crore rupees and additional production turnover of over 3 lakh crore rupees in 5 years. Talking to AIR News, Minister of State for Textiles, Darshana Jardosh said it is expected that the scheme will result in fresh investment of above 19,000 crore rupees and additional production turnover of over 3 lakh crore rupees in 5 years.
अंदाजन 5 साल में ये स्कीम के तरह 90,000 करोड़ का इन्वेस्टमेंट, 3 लाख करोड़ से ज्यादा प्रोडक्शन और 7.5 लाख से ज्यादा रोजगारी की तक पैदा करेगा। और ये स्कीम के कारण मैनमेड फाइबर, एप्रल और टेक्निकल टेक्सटाइल में प्रोडक्शन और ज्यादा होगा। और मैन्युफैक्चर सेक्टर के साथ साथ इसमें एक्सपोर्ट प्रमोशन है, उनको सबसे ज्यादा इसमें लाभ मिलेगा।
The Union Cabinet also approved the signing of Memorandum of Understanding between the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and the Chamber of Auditors of the Republic of Azerbaijan. The Cabinet also approved the signing of an MOU on cooperation in the field of geosciences between the joint stock company Rosgeologia, a legal entity incorporated under the laws of the Russian Federation, and the Geological Survey of India. The Cabinet also cleared the signing of an agreement on the recruitment of Indian citizens to work in the Portuguese Republic between India and Portugal. The Cabinet also approved the procurement of 56 C-295 MW transport aircraft for the Indian Air Force. The Cabinet Committee on Security today approved the procurement from Airbus Defence and Space SA, Spain, for the Indian Air Force. C-295 MW aircraft is a transport aircraft of 5 to 10 ton capacity with contemporary technology that will replace the aging Avro aircraft of the IAF. The aircraft has a rear ramp door for quick reaction and para-dropping of troops and cargo. 16 aircraft will be delivered in flyaway condition from Spain within 48 months of signing of the contract, and 40 aircraft will be manufactured in India by the Tata Consortium within 10 years of signing of the contract. This is the first project of its kind in which a military aircraft will be manufactured in India by a private company. The project will give a boost to aerospace ecosystem in India, wherein several MSMEs spread over the country will be involved in manufacturing parts of the aircraft.
The Russian National Security Advisor, General Nikolai Patrushev, and his Indian counterpart, Ajit Doval, today held high-level consultations on Afghanistan in New Delhi. Later, the visiting Russian NSA, who called on the External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, in a tweet, Dr. Jaishankar said very useful discussions were held on Afghanistan. The Russian NSA also met Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi this evening. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said that the visit of General Patrushev allowed useful discussions between both sides on important regional developments. Sources said the two countries reviewed the political, security and humanitarian situation in Afghanistan, activities of terrorist groups including Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Toiba, threats from drugs and the role of regional countries. The two sides also deliberated on details of Indo-Russia cooperation to meet current and future threats and measures to assist the crisis-hit country. The consultations reflect the entirely new situation in Afghanistan created by the withdrawal of US forces and takeover by the Taliban. They also reflect the desire, importance and potential for significant increase in political and security cooperation between India and Russia in Afghanistan. Both countries share similar concerns on terrorism, especially to ensure that the Taliban adhere to their promises and assurances. The central government today informed the Supreme Court that it has taken decisions to allow the induction of women into National Defence Academy, NDA. The government said the decision was taken in consultation with armed forces. Additional Solicitor General Aishwarya Bhati informed the Apex Court of the decision. The court proceeded to record the same and posted the case for further hearing on September 22nd. The top court on 18th of last month ruled that women be allowed to face the NDA entrance exam for gaining commission as officers in defence services. With this, not only have the doors been thrown open for women to gain permanent commission in the Indian Army, Air Force and Navy, the decision has long-term ramifications regarding the future of women in the armed forces. India has administered over 70 crore 75 lakh doses of COVID vaccine so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. Union Health Ministry said more than 78 lakh 47,000 vaccine doses were administered in the last 24 hours. The ministry said 39,114 COVID patients recovered during the last 24 hours and the national recovery rate has reached 97.48%. The country reported 37,875 new cases in the last 24 hours.
Assam Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma inaugurated a vaccination centre at the premises of the interstate bus terminus in Guwahati today. The vaccination centre has been opened to bring the unvaccinated passengers under total vaccination following the reopening of the inter-district and interstate transportation services. The Chief Minister also flagged off mobile vaccination vans to be pressed into service in different districts of the state to target the unvaccinated people. In Kerala, 16 more samples of persons who showed symptoms of the Nipah infection in Kozhikode have tested negative. All 46 samples tested so far have showed negative results. State Health Minister Veena George told media persons this evening that samples taken by the Animal Husbandry Department have been sent to the National Institute of Virology, Pune. House-to-house surveys have been completed covering 4,995 households in the region. The minister said, barring Nipah containment zones, COVID vaccination drive, which remains suspended in Kozhikode Taluk after Nipah virus was reported, will resume tomorrow. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will chair the 13th Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa summit tomorrow in virtual format. The theme for the summit is BRICS at 15, Intra-BRICS Cooperation for Continuity, Consolidation and Consensus. India had outlined 4 priority areas for its chairship. These are reform for the multilateral system, counter-terrorism, using digital and technological tools for achieving SDGs, and enhancing people-to-people exchanges. Talking to AIR News, defense expert C. Uday Bhaskar said the summit is significant in view of the ongoing developments in Afghanistan.
BRICS meeting has a very important deliberation at summit level. I think Prime Minister Modi would be able to steer the discussion as the chair in the appropriate manner about the implications of the Taliban in Afghanistan. And given the fact that Prime Minister Modi himself has alerted the global community about the scourge of terrorism, I think getting some kind of consensus among the BRICS countries would be very valuable, because at the moment Russia and China have indicated that they are more empathetic, the Taliban, than the other members of the Security Council as far as the permanent members are concerned. So I see the BRICS meeting as very important in putting India's own agenda and concerns on the table and seeing whether consensus is possible in terms of the final statement.
Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath today said that the upcoming Raja Mahendra Pratap Singh University in Aligarh will prove the axis of development for the city. He informed that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will lay the foundation stone of the university on 14th of September. Around 400 degree colleges of the districts, Aligarh, Kasganj, Etah and Hathras, will be affiliated with the proposed university. The Prime Minister will also launch the Aligarh Node of Defence corridor on the same day. Chief Minister was in Aligarh today to take stock of the preparations for the proposed function on 14th of September. He informed that Prime Minister will distribute the papers for allocation of land to 19 investors for an investment of around 1,500 crore rupees in the defence corridor. Swachh Sarvekshan Gramin 2021 will be launched under the Swachh Bharat Mission Phase 2 tomorrow. As part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, Swachh Sarvekshan Gramin aims to support acceleration of open defecation-free plus interventions and results in the country. An expert agency has been hired to conduct the survection, under which villages, districts and states would be ranked using key parameters. As part of Swachh Sarvekshan Gramin, 17,475 villages in 698 districts across the country will be covered. Over 87,000 public places, including schools, anganwaris and public health centres in these villages will be visited for survey. Uttarakhand Governor Baby Rani Maurya has resigned from the post, and officials of Raj Bhavan told AIR in Dehradun that Mrs. Maurya sent her resignation to President today. She was sworn in as the Governor of Uttarakhand on August 26, 2018.
Tamil Nadu Assembly passed a resolution against CAA, NPC and NPR today. Moving the resolution, Chief Minister Stalin said that the CAA is against the principles of the Indian Constitution. The resolution asked the Union government to scrap the CAA. The Chief Minister said that the welfare of the Sri Lankan refugees needs proper recognition and they should be treated as citizens. BJP Legislature Party leader Nayanar Nagendran said that there is nothing against Muslims in the CAA. He said that minority Hindus, Sikhs and Parsis are threatened in Pakistan and several other countries, and the CAA aims to help those who have come to India due to religious persecution in these countries. Later, the BJP members staged a walkout. AIADMK abstained from voting and the resolution was adopted through a voice vote. You're listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on.
Cabinet increases MSP for Rabi crops for marketing season 2022 and 23 to ensure remunerative prices for farmers. Government also approves production-linked incentive scheme for textiles to help create additional employment of over 7.5 lakh people. Cabinet approves procurement of 56 transport aircraft for Indian Air Force. High-level India-Russia intergovernmental consultation of Afghanistan held in New Delhi reviews situation in Afghanistan, activities of terrorist groups and role of regional countries. Centre decides to allow induction of women into National Defence Academy. India administers over 70 crore 75 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccine so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. National recovery rate of COVID-19 stands at 97.48%. In Kerala, 16 more samples tested negative for Nipah infection in Kozhikode. Rescue operation on following capsize of a boat in Brahmaputra near Nimati Ghat in Jorhat district of Assam. Over 100 people rescued so far. And Sports and Youth Affairs Minister Anurag Thakur felicitates Paralympics medal winners. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के पावन अवसर पर आकाशवाणी समाचार के कार्यक्रम परिक्रमा में 9 सितंबर गुरुवार को शाम 4:45 पर सुनिए देश की आजादी की लड़ाई में अपना अमूल्य योगदान देने वाले बिहार के प्रथम भारतीय स्वतंत्रता संग्राम के सिपाही कुंवर सिंह की वीर गाथा।
Welcome back to the evening news. As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events is being organized by the government as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Let us listen now to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. India's glorious fight for freedom is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the valiant struggle every day.
On this very day in 1897, Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak was charged for sedition for his criticism of the British rule in his Marathi newspaper named Kesari.
This was an important moment in India's political history as it marked the criminalization of dissent as a grand spectacle of a political trial.
Tilak was charged for the publication of 2 texts, Shivaji's Utterances, a poem, and an unsigned report on the June 1897 Shivaji festival at which Tilak spoke.
In 1897, Chapekar brothers shot dead 2 British officers, namely the collector of Pune, Mr. Rand, who was responsible for the plague measures, and a young military officer.
This incident caused intense indignation among the Europeans and in the British government of India. It was pointed out that the murders of the 2 officers were the direct result of the incitement caused by Tilak's speeches and articles.
Due to prosecution's narrow legal interpretation, the texts were reduced to mean incitement of feelings of disaffection.
After 6 days of litigation, the jury announced Tilak guilty, and Tilak was sentenced to 18 months of imprisonment.
Incidentally, Tilak was imprisoned thrice under the sedition law by the British.
When the nationalists were waging a war against the colonial rulers, spiritualists lifted the morale of Indians and told the Western world about the greatest philosophy of Hinduism, thus garnering the support of the world for India's freedom.
One such spiritualist, Swami Abhidhananda, was born in the year 1866. He was a direct disciple of Swami Ramakrishna Paramhans. Swami Vivekananda sent Swami Abhidhananda to the USA.
He went to the USA in 1897 as the head of the Vedanta Society of New York and preached messages of Vedanta and teachings of his guru. For about 25 years, he traveled far and wide to the United States, Canada, Mexico, Japan, and Hong Kong. After attending the Pan-Pacific Education Conference at Honolulu, he returned to India in 1922.
He also crossed the Himalayas on foot and reached Tibet, where he studied Tibetan Buddhism. He left for his heavenly abode on the 8th of September 1939, but his spiritual teachings continue to guide people on their spiritual journey.
Today is the death anniversary of Firoz Gandhi, who was a freedom fighter, journalist, and a parliamentarian. Firoz, who was born on 12th of September 1912 in a Parsi family, quit studies to take part in India's freedom struggle.
He was imprisoned in 1930 along with Lal Bahadur Shastri and was lodged in the Faizabad jail for 19 months. Soon after his release, he was imprisoned twice, in 1932 and in 1933.
Firoz Gandhi married Indira Gandhi in 1942. The couple were arrested and jailed in August 1942 during the Quit India movement less than 6 months after their marriage.
Even after being allowed to report on the parliamentary proceedings and against the publication of any such proceedings, having started his career as a scribe, Firoz understood the importance of freedom of the press.
It is because of a private member's bill introduced by Firoz in 1956, it is possible for media to report parliament proceedings. Firoz died in 1960 in Delhi. That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar AIR News Ke Sang. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
In Assam, rescue operation is on following the capsize of a boat in the Brahmaputra near Nimati Ghat in Jorhat district. CEO of the State Disaster Management Authority, G.D. Tripathi, said that the mishap occurred following a head-on collision between a ferry and a machine boat. He said Jorhat and Majuli district administrations are carrying out rescue operations with the help of NDRF and SDRF. Mr. Tripathi said that there were 120 passengers while over 100 people have been rescued so far. He said one person died in Jorhat Medical College while 15 people are still suspected to be missing. President Ramnath Kovind said he is deeply pained to hear about the loss of lives in the boat accident in Jorhat, Assam. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed sadness at the boat accident in Assam. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said all possible efforts are being made to rescue the passengers. Home Minister Amit Shah and Union Minister Sarbananda Sonowal has also expressed anguish over the incident.
Finance Ministry today said a number of technical issues in e-filing portal of the Income Tax Department are being progressively addressed, and there has been a positive trend reflected in the statistics of the various filings on the portal. The e-filing portal was launched on 7th of June. Taxpayers and professionals have reported glitches and difficulties in portal since then. The ministry has been regularly monitoring the resolution of issues with Infosys Limited, which is the managed service provider for the project. The National Investigation Agency, which is probing the Antalya bomb scare case, has revealed that dismissed Mumbai police official Sachin Vase was instrumental in placing explosive-laden Scorpio near Antalya on the intervening night of 24th and 25th of February 2021. A senior official of the NIA told AIR that Vase, who was earlier under suspension, was reinstated in the year 2020 and was posted in Crime Intelligence Unit, Mumbai. The investigation further revealed that he wanted to regain his clout as an ace detective, encounter specialist, and as a reason hashed a conspiracy to place a Scorpio-laden with gelatine sticks, explosive, and a threat note addressed to the chairman of a major business group near his residence.
The Indian medal winners of Tokyo 2020 Paralympics were felicitated at a function in New Delhi this evening. Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports Anurag Singh Thakur, Minister of State for Youth Affairs and Sports Nishit Pramanik, and Law Minister Kiran Rijiju felicitated all the medal winners. The country bagged an all-time high 19 medals, including 5 gold, 8 silver and 6 bronze in the recently concluded Tokyo Paralympic Games. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Thakur said, "The Indian contingent has made the country proud by winning 19 medals, which is a historic achievement for the country."
ना आप रुके, ना रुकी आपके हौसलों की उड़ान। संघर्ष के इन 19 मेडलों पर पूरा देश कर रहा अभिमान, पूरा देश कर रहा अभिमान। Last time the contingent size was just 19 athletes, and this time they have won 19 medals. The achievement is historic. I can assure you that we will leave no stone unturned for the future Olympics and for the future World Championships so that you could achieve more and more.
Minister of Power and New and Renewable Energy R.K. Singh today said India is the world leader in energy transition and intends to continue leading the path. He said India's nationally determined contributions, NDC, is to increase the share of non-fossil fuels to 40% of the total electricity generation capacity by 2030. He added that at the current rate, India might be able to achieve almost 50% from the non-fossil fuel by 2030. Mr. Singh was speaking at a webinar on a multilateral approach to building a global hydrogen economy.
Russia's Emergencies Minister Yevgeny Zenishev has died in an accident during an Arctic civil defense exercise. The ministry says Zenishev, 55, had died in Norilsk while trying to save a cameraman's life. The cameraman had fallen off a cliff during an interview, according to Margarita Semyon, the head of the Russian broadcaster. Zenishev had been seen emergencies minister since 2018 and for years was reportedly a key member of President Vladimir Putin's security detail. In Mexico, at least 17 patients have been killed after heavy rainfall caused flooding at a hospital in central Hidalgo state. Officials say a river burst its banks and water then cut the power supply at the hospital in the town of Tula. Some of the victims were COVID-19 patients who were being treated with oxygen therapy. Rescuers evacuated about 40 patients. Meanwhile, a boat transporting the state governor sank in the river.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital Delhi will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Temperature will vary between 25 and 33 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Minimum temperature will be 25 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 30 degrees. Chennai is expected to have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Temperature will vary between 26 and 34 degrees. Kolkata will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. City will observe a minimum temperature of 27 degrees Celsius and a maximum of around 32 degrees. Srinagar will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Temperature will hover between 18 and 28 degrees Celsius. Jammu will have thunderstorm with rain. Leh is expected to have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Minimum temperature will be 11 and the maximum around 25 degrees. Gilgit will have partly cloudy sky. Temperature will hover between 15 and 37 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad will have scattered thunderstorms. The minimum temperature will be 19 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 24 degrees. Hyderabad will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Minimum temperature will be 22, maximum around 29 degrees. Bengaluru will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Temperature will hover between 20 and 28 degrees Celsius. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Cabinet increases MSP for Rabi crops for marketing season 2022-23 to ensure remunerative prices for farmers. Government also approves production-linked incentive scheme for textiles to help create additional employment of over 7.5 lakh people. Cabinet approves procurement of 56 transport aircraft for Indian Air Force. High-level India-Russia intergovernmental consultations on Afghanistan held in New Delhi review situation in Afghanistan, activities of terrorist groups and role of regional countries. Centre decides to allow induction of women into the National Defence Academy. India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage crosses 71 crore landmark. National recovery rate of COVID-19 stands at 97.48%. In Kerala, 16 more samples tested negative for Nipah infection in Kozhikode. Rescue operation on following capsize of a boat in Brahmaputra near Nimati Ghat in Jorhat district of Assam. Over 100 people rescued so far. And Sports and Youth Affairs Minister Anurag Singh Thakur felicitates Paralympic medal winners. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.